I am constructing a media empire built on sincerity and affability. In 10 years, I will be everywhere.
Holy shit, I've met you before. You're a brown Joe Buck.
No, Joe Buck is a white man.
Crucificados pelo sistema. Crucificados pelo sistema.
So, if you don't mind, would you mind, let me start again. If you don't mind, would you introduce yourself for the podcast?
I'm Boka, R.D.P. drummer. I'm João, guitar.
And so right now I'm in Singapore outside the Projector venue, which is a weird mix of a movie theater and live venue, where fucking R.D.P. are in Asia, and I never thought in my life I would get to see you guys, and this would be my second time to see you in 2 days. So thank you guys so much for coming. Like, honestly, it's a dream.
For coming too. Thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate that.
So let's talk about how you got here. How was this Asian tour set up?
Well, for the last couple of years, we have a friend there, a dude from the band called Nervocals. He's setting up some shows overseas, you know. So he came with the idea last year, well, guys, I think you should go to Asia. And we never did this before, and the main reason is financial means, you know. Because traveling from South America to Asia, it's way too expensive for us, you know. But he organized this, got 8-9 shows, 7 different countries, if I'm not missing anything. And he came up with the idea, so I'm gonna do this. So he's the person behind this project. And I never thought I could make it to Asia at all in my life, you know. I mean, I've been here before with a Dutch band, the Vitamin X. I was touring with them with the 2005. But I was already in Europe, so it's a different distance, different cost to come. And I don't know, man. A lot of bands, they go to Japan, but not the other countries. Maybe it has been changing for the last years. I don't really know what's happening in Asia. But man, it's an honor. It's like a dream to come true, to have another territory that we did, you know. because in the end it's what counts, you know. Like, man, I was playing in a band that was going all around the world. It's histories to tell. It's what you keep in mind. It has the most value for you. So it's incredible to come here.
When you toured with Vitamin X, which countries did you play?
On the Southeast Asia, I did 4 countries. We did 4. So it was the Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and the Philippines.
Cool. And on this tour, which countries are you seeing?
R.D.P is playing. We already did Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore tonight, and then, if I'm not missing anything, we'll do the Vietnam, Taipei, South Korea, and Japan.
So you did mention it's very difficult for you to fly from Brazil over here to Southeast Asia. What route did you guys end up taking?
Sorry, say again.
Sorry, how did you guys fly here from Brazil?
We took a flight from São Paulo straight to Thailand.
Okay.
And then we will be flying all over,
So I've flown from Malaysia to the US, and that was 20 hours. How long was it to fly from Sao Paulo to Thailand?
It's a little bit more, maybe maybe it's 25 hours on the plane and more like 5-6 hours in the airport. Let's say up to 30 hours.
Okay, cool. So if you don't mind, can we talk about what happened last night in KL?
Well, we had this flight to departure in the morning, you know. We got a message from the airline saying, well, this flight is not happening. We reschedule it for 5 p.m. I said, well, it's kind of tight, but it's okay to do it. And then when we checked in, they said, well, the flight's going to delay like an hour. And then in the end, it delayed more, 3 hours. So we arrived in Kuala Lumpur, it was almost midnight. And I thought we wouldn't make it, you know, but in the end we get there like really late.
It was a fucking shit yesterday, man. I fucking stress and hey man, when I lost the gig, fuck. Terrible. So across the world and don't play the fucking gig, mate. You know what I mean? But we can.
Wow, it was a really stressful day, but we did it. We played the show. People there enjoyed. So this is what matters. You know?
So I was at the show in KL last night, and I'm friends with the promoters, the guys who put on the show, and it was very stressful for them too, and they were worried that people were going to leave. And one of my buddies thought I was going to leave because I actually live quite far from where the venue is. And so like I told you off mic, I mean, you know, I got my first R.D.P album in like 1999, 2000, and I've been waiting 19 years to see you. And so what I said was, I've been waiting 19 years, I can wait one more hour. It's no problem. It's no problem.
You have a point.
Yeah. And I gotta say, like...
Sorry, mate.
No worries.
No.
It was very stressful, and you guys pulled through, and I have to say, it was worth the wait. It was worth 19.
Thank you.
It was worth 19 years and 1 hour. Absolutely. It was one of my favorite shows that I've seen this year. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, man.
So I want to talk a little bit about the history of your band. We don't have to go through everything, but I want to talk about basically the early days and what influenced you to start playing this kind of music.
Consegue?
Yeah, man. We come from the punk movement from São Paulo, you know.
Yeah.
In the same time, you know, around the world, the people doing different sounds, like it's not a punk rock like 77,
Yeah.
like hardcore from the beginning of the 80s, you know what I mean? And we have this influence, you know, from the Charge or American hardcore. And after this, have the thrash metal. Como que é? O thrash metal, tipo, ele influenciou muito a gente.
Because it was like a huge influence on the band, the thrash metal, when it appears on the mid 80s, the first Bay Area thrash bands. It was a huge influence on the sound of the band, and a huge impact of the.
I mean, we created like a style of music because it's a lot of influence, but not copiando sem copiar ninguém, né?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to say that the band has developed a style. Even the albums sound way different from each other. You're gonna listen to that. So this is R.D.P. You know? So all these different influence from British bands and European bands, American bands. So they developed their own style out of that. So that's what he was trying to say.
Were there a lot of other bands in Sao Paulo at the time playing the same kind of music or similar music?
São Paulo?
As bandas que tinha na época, pô.
Well, Olho Seco, Cólera is the band with the same age than us, you know. But I mean, when the times passed, the Ratos goes to other way, you know, more with heavy metal influence and things like that, you know. I mean, of course, Sepultura is a big name of the heavy music, Brazilian heavy music, but we're not Sepultura too, you know. We're punks from the heart and have the ideas, you know. But the sound, I think, man, we are what we can do, you know.
Absolutely.
Not more than this.
I'm curious because when you guys started, Brazil was still under military dictatorship, right?
Yeah, but it was in the very end. It was like already what we call the transition.
Okay.
Because we got this when the dictator started to lose its meaning there. Because I mean the dictatorship of the militaries was all over South and Central America by the time. So it was a conjuncture of that time. So it was like a global policy, you know, a communist threat, all the period of the Cold War and everything. So when it started to lose its meaning, I mean, things were already set for the dominance of the U.S. economy and politics. Brazil had this period of the history that we call the transition. So it was everything like slow. For instance, we didn't have the right to vote, but in the beginning, well, now you can vote for the mayor of the city, but the government that rules the country is still military. Now you can vote for the mayor of the state because we have 23 different states. So it was like step by step, very slow. So it was between the very end of the 70s to the mid 80s.
Okay.
So there was still censorship of what you were writing, but not so hard, you know. There was still a military dictatorship, but not anymore like kidnapping, arresting, and killing people just for being an opposite for the government, you know.
But in the beginning of the band, we have to send the lyrics to the censorship and
To get their approval.
no way, Paul, no, we're not gonna record like that. But this one is the first 3 or 4 years of the band, you know.
I mean, did you guys have any problems? Because from the beginning, you guys were very, very political.
Tinha os polícia paravam o show, né?
Yes. Quando usava roupa de punk assim, puta.
Well, if you go out on the street dressing like a punk kid or a metalhead, in lots of situations, police are going to stop you, ask for documents, being
Every
rough and violent, and some of the gigs were like spoiled by the police. The police just show up and say, "Wow, show is finished. Everybody's going to the police station. We're gonna check on you," and this kind of things, you know. But it was in the very beginning, like the first 2 or 3 years, as you said.
The white man lit his
So I want to talk about the album Brazil, because that was the first R.D.P. album I ever bought, and you guys are actually playing a lot of songs from that album on this tour. What was the writing process like for that?
Como é que foi o bagulho de compor Brasil? Como é que surgiu?
Man, I think the album Brazil is a point of view of us, point of view, and acho que a gente começou a fazer as músicas, tudo voltado para aquelas ideias do Brasil, e aí tem a capa, tem...
Não, o conceito, né?
O conceito.
Mas aí musicalmente era meio que o crossover que tava...
Crossover, né?
So he was trying to say that the music was just a natural process, because this album is really important to me because I was a fan of them. I wasn't played by that time. I joined the band 3 or 4 years after this album was out. So music was a natural process, like being more in their own crossover style, and all the lyrics and the cover art and everything, they thought the direction of writing the lyrics and the cover was thinking about the country. What happens in this country? How this country goes. So every lyric, everything was thinking about that. Most of the lyrics are speaking of this Brazilian social and cultural aspects, and also some things from the past, and some things like looking further for the future. Say, well, is it going to change someday? And there also a song, the second song, Retrocesso, talks about beware, because we can go back, and this is pretty much what's happening now, because there was a rise of right-wing ideas in Brazil now. It scares me, and I'm really surprised about it. So it was like, some sort of a visionary, but it was tried just to report Brazil as a bigger picture.
In general, it's tough to write about your country. Like if I were to write an album about Malaysia, it would be very critical. But then when I leave Malaysia, sometimes I have more fondness about it. Would you say Brazil as an album is optimistic or positive about the country Brazil, or?
Well, I believe the lyrics that Gordo writes, they are not trying to send a message.
Okay.
It's more like a friend of us called us lyrically saying as a punk journalism, because Gordo likes to tell what's happening and make some kind of black humor out of it. But he don't write lyrics trying to express a political position or a way to think how the things are going to change, or this is right, this is wrong. It's much more than this is what's happening, and always some black humor spice on it.
I noticed that all the song titles on the album are in Portuguese, but a lot of the lyrics are in English. Is there a reason for that?
Because some of the names can't be translated as well.
Okay.
Some of the names are like personal names.
Okay.
But Gordo always wrote everything in Portuguese till now. But when we got signed to Roadrunner, it was something on the contract. You gotta record in English as well. So the translation, it's really hard to translate, because he uses a lot of slang.
Bom, mas a ideia é que a gente queria também que o mundo soubesse que a gente estava falando.
And it was a concern of the band, like, well, the world needs to know what we're talking about. What is this, But some of the lyrics and some of the situations, they are so peculiar, so local, that it's impossible to translate. So it's much more like a free translation, trying to get the point that like a translation itself.
Like more of the feeling than literal.
Porque
words.
muita coisa para traduzir não tinha como, né? Foi meio que uma adaptação, né? Yeah. Like trying to adapt.
Is there a reason why you guys didn't stick with Roadrunner, or why they didn't stick with Roadrunner?
Sorry, say again?
Is there a reason why they didn't stick with Roadrunner?
Well, our deal, the R.D.P. deal, was with a Brazilian label licensed to Roadrunner,
I see. Okay, got it.
right? And then after that, when we released Just Another Time in Massacre Land record, Brazil have his own Roadrunner offs. So that was a Brazilian Roadrunner.
I see.
And they signed to us. But then the European and American Roadrunners said, well, we don't want to sign them because maybe we were not selling much, and by that time we were a band that were not touring often outside of Brazil. The thing is, I believe the band didn't really know how was the way to do it, man. It was just like a Brazilian kids trying to have a band together. It was not a professional band. I mean, maybe we are not even professional now, but we know how the things goes. We are traveling all around for the last 20 years, and it gives you some knowledge about how things are going. But Roadrunner said, well, we don't want to release the records. And then after a while, we didn't have the records outside of Brazil. And then in the mid-90s, when we recorded the Carniceria Tropical, we got the deal with the Alternative Tentacles. And then we did all the albums after that with them, and some other smaller European labels as well.
Yeah. Cinco gênios se voltar atrás, cinco gênios de se defender, cinco vezes se abraça demais, cinco segundos pra você morrer. Mesquinha e fugida, difícil de entender, melhor para você.
Are there any plans to re-release the old records?
Well, there's always a re-release it somewhere, man. I mean, there's this Italy label, FOAD, Italian label. They re-released the Feijoada Accident albums, Descansa em Paz, the second album as well. There's some.
No começo lá, primeiras demo tapes.
Yeah, they also released an album with the very early demo tapes, you know. So there's always re-releasing. It's kind of difficult because different labels owns the rights for each different record, you know. So, but there's always been re-releasing every time.
So I want to talk about, there was a slight style change, or in my opinion, a slight style change after you guys signed with Alternative Tentacles. Is that you as a drummer? Were you having more influence on the music?
Well, after the first album that I recorded was the live album. So the album just have like old songs, but the style has changed because, man, every band that get a new drummer, the style changes somehow. You know?
Yeah.
I believe I added up a lot, and this is what people say as well. But after we signed to Alternative Tentacles, I mean, the 90s was a weird decade for everybody, like a decade of change, you know. Everybody was trying to find a sound, different influences, so the album that we recorded on the mid-90s is just another time in Massacre Land. It's an album that it's the most different record that we did. It was trying to find a style mixing what we did in the past with some 90s music, you know, 90s heavy music. But then after that, when we recorded the Feijoada, then the album with the covers, with the punk covers all around the world, the Brazilian, I believe it brought back some more hardcore and punk influence. So I would define like we have some technique and the tightness of the metal, our own style of metal, with the energy and the lecture of the hardcore punk. So I believe the sound of the band developed on that direction. I mean, after that, since the Carniceria Tropical album, every album sounds different. Some of them more brutal, some of them more clear or more raw. But I believe we found this style, like combining all of these.
How would you describe your drumming style? Drumming style. How would you describe it?
How do I describe myself?
Your style, the way you play your drums.
Man, it's a hard question. It's always hard to talk about yourself, but I would say it's powerful.
Okay.
I see it as powerful.
And how would you describe your guitar playing?
Como é que tu define, como é que tu descreve como é que é a guitarra do Ratos? Como que é o som da, o que é a guitarra do Ratos?
Cara,
É difícil de falar, né? O som é poder, cara.
Difícil,
Maior
é.
poder, velho.
tem o poder do thrash metal, mas tem a pegada punk hardcore, né?
So it's the powerful of the thrash metal, but with the hardcore punk feeling. That's how he describes
Yeah.
it.
Awesome.
I believe everybody's gonna tell you the same. Even, the band ourselves and the fans as well.
In addition to Vitamin X and R.D.P, you also have a record label. You have your own record label.
Yeah, I started the record label in the mid-90s, and it was like something. It's something that I like to do, like dealing with records, knowing bands, and buying records, selling them. I was already working as a sales rep for some major labels there in Brazil by that time, you know. So I started my own label as a passion and something that could help me financially somehow, you know. That's why I started it, and I'm still doing it.
What's the name of the label, and how can people order stuff from you?
You can type Peculio Discos on the Google and everything will come up, like Facebook, Instagram, website. This is the way the things are now, man. Just write down Peculio, Peculio Discos, records, and you'll find things.
Do you mostly do physical releases like CDs and
Yeah,
vinyl?
only physical, vinyl and CDs.
Is there any reason?
Sorry?
Is there any reason that you don't do digital?
Yeah. There's a band from my hometown, Santos, called it Surra. They play some sort of thrashcore, really intense, really good lyrics, singing in Portuguese. I mean, for me, it's the best Brazilian band at the moment. They are a power trio. I also have some CDs and 7 inches that I brought to sell on the road. I have them on merch table there. So I'm still doing some releases. Not much, but a few every year.
So finishing up, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. I took up a lot of your time, and I appreciate it a lot so much.
Okay.
But you have to do one favor for me, which is I've been saying the name of your band wrong for 20 years. Can you tell me how to actually say?
You mean the pronounce?
Yeah.
Ratos de Porão.
Porão.
Yeah.
Is that
you're right.
close?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Ratos de Porão.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, mate.